Thank you very much. Thank you for a nice introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished colleagues, it's really a pleasure for me to be here today. And, you know, as Krzyszek said, I'm so a little bit on two chairs in academic sphere at our Faculty of Law and our Institute for Intellectual Property, and secondly at the Ministry of Culture. And this brings me a little bit disadvantage for today's conference, not for the next year, definitely, and that's because of our presidency. And you know, what is really uncomfortable at the presidency is that you are not allowed to have own opinion. You have to be neutral, so as it was an old joke before 1989 in our countries, that I have my opinion, but I don't agree with it. So my presentation will be maybe a little bit more general, more informational, more presidency, but I hope not too boring. So why we are here today, please, can we have next slide? Thank you. I start a little bit from the ADEM, and we are, as we all know, in recent in recent years, we are in an environment that we call knowledge-based society, and what we do is we are transferring, we as Visegrad countries especially, we are countries in transition still in some way, and we are, besides everything else, we are trying to shift our economies from only industrial way to be more like a creative economies and creative industries with high added value, of course. This brings, of course, the state that we have really wide access to IP, and the content, the art, the culture is no longer created only in analog way, but is really created in digital way, is digitally born content, and this is really like challenges that we are facing now. Intellectual property, that's why we are here. Why we are here at the CopyCamp conference, where we are talking about the position of intellectual property. It is really, really important, not only for the creative industries, but very important for many various reasons. Cultural diversity, of course, improving competitiveness, because the culture itself could be also a really place for investment and for getting economic value besides, or hand by hand in with cultural values. And of course, when we are talking general intellectual property, not only copyright, we cannot forget on research and development and the questions of innovation and technology transfer. So, as you can see, as I feel the field of culture, the area of culture, it's connected with creativity very naturally from a historical point of view, and it counts still. So through the creativity we can create the values, cultural values and global social values. We create knowledge, we create understanding, and we create also other really important values. And generally we create culture. Nowadays is really important topic like creative industries, creative economy, and what I would like to stress that the culture, area of culture, has this one specialty, and only in the cultural sector we can naturally connect this what is material, could be material, with economic value, with immaterial intellectual values. And it is very important, and this is really area where we need to foster also our legislative initiations, because the intellectual property and copyright is a backbone for this area, and it really stimulates the next creativity. It really gives a place for cultural diversity, and it creates also the place where you can economically use your works of art. What is creative industries? You all very well know, so I wouldn't repeat this. I just stress that we still are trying to focus in our legislation initiatives or other steps. We are still trying to focus on the whole value chain, from the beginning in the creation, through the dissemination, through the distribution, as to the consumption and all the chain back around. So in these nice times for culture, we come here with the initiative for digital single market. And of course, the internet and digitization of the content becomes very important for us. So I need to speed up a little bit. Okay. From the strategy for digital single market that was introduced on the last year, 2015, nowadays we have very nice legislative initiatives on the table that we are dealing with as the presidency country, but not only us, also the Commission, and with very good cooperation also with European Parliament. So what is it? Let's have a little bit closer look. We have to of course, focus on the protection of national culture, cultural diversity. It's like the basic idea behind all this, and remove the differences between the physical, analog world and digital world. And still, what is like still important in copyright and intellectual property issues, we need to find some balance between it. Three key words for me from the digital single market strategy and the subsequent initiatives. It's portability, accessibility, and territoriality. Go on. Portability is an issue that is on the table, that is quite close to the end, and it seems that we are going to have the very first regulation in the field of copyright. We are very happy about this, and we hope that we will be able to finish the trialogues, maybe during our presidency. If not, we'll help our Maltese colleagues to finish this. And I believe this is a very important step towards really digital single market. It can go on, it's a diagram. But I still asking myself and my colleagues the question that portability, is it still, this full accessibility? And the answer is that, of course, because of territoriality, that is the key principle of intellectual property itself and copyright, of course, there is still a problem to have something like digital accessibility. So we are using legal fiction, and I believe this may work. Now we got a second package. We heard quite a lot in the previous presentation, so I won't repeat this information. We can go on. We have like 4 legislative initiations. It's really like a hard work before us, and I believe maybe through 1 year we can be quite successful. We separated it a little bit because we have 2 initiatives in the field of Marrakesh Treaty, and we believe that they can go a little bit faster than the second 2 that is aimed on especially exceptions and limitations and a little bit CAPSAT amendment, let's say. Go on. We can go on. Okay. Of course, there is still the question if we are getting to accessibility, and there is still a problem with territoriality. So we are introducing mandatory exceptions and limitations. We are introducing like a new tool for out-of-commerce works, and it is extended collective license in the European regulation for the first time. And we are trying to have more European works on VOD platforms and working with intermediaries and, of course, with value gap problems. Okay, we can go on. Just one more back, please. And how we deal with territoriality in these 2 proposals. It's not legal fiction now, and it's a country of origin principle that shall be discussed in very deep detail because it's quite a new tool in the field of EU copyright legislation. We know it from the AVMSD directive, but I hope that it could also work somehow in the field of copyright. But still, we are tackling the issue of territoriality. The still question if these proposals are ambitious enough. It always could be more ambitious, of course, but we do believe that this is a very good first step for the discussion. Okay, as time is out, so let's go to some conclusions. What could be the future steps? As I said, we need to try to find a balance, but I believe that what is really ahead of us is tackling of issue of territoriality in digital world. And I believe that also these proposals could start and boost to the discussion on this issue. Of course, unjustified geo-blocking cannot be tolerated, but we need to discuss what is really unjustified and find also the balance to this and remove then the barriers between the physical and digital world. Finally, as I believe that these three pillars are the main areas that we need to examine in the future of copyright, and it is exceptions and limitations, and really in a very good deep detail. Then contract law, that we don't tackle this issue on European level so far, or just a little bit. And collective management. As we know, we have quite fresh new directive on collective management, but I think that we can go a little bit further because collective management is a tool that we can replace with any kind with any other. And my final remark, and I will end, is that we have to beware before really over copywriting everything. I believe that in all the discussions that are had us in the European level or national level, we need to still get back to the principal philosophy of copyright, and that the copyright is really dedicated to the work of art or science, literature, and should really bear unique creativity of one human's kind. So please do that. Thank you for your kind attention.
Bardzo dziękuję.